EK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How is everybody doing? Shout out to all the beautiful people in chat, man. It is a beautiful day, a beautiful Saturday. Like Steele just said in the chat, happy 420 if you partake. If you do not, have a great day otherwise. But we here. We got a lot of shit cooking up. No guest tonight. I got to let the cat out the bag. Slow-mo was our guest tonight, but he had something come up very last minute, but shout out to Slow-Mo. We'll have to reschedule him on the show sometime soon, but appreciate you, brother. You never know. I sent a couple links out. You never know who might drop through, so we're going to rock out with just the three amigos. But shout out to everybody in chat. I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are amazingly awesome. Thank you. Love every single one of you guys. But we got a lot to talk about this weekend. I missed my guys. I missed you guys last week, man. Had to take a little bit of a break. You know, sometimes these weeks get a little tough, so I had to take a little break, get some rest, but I'm back, revitalized, rejuvenated, ready to get into some of these gaming topics, man. Shout out chat, Rain, still Rain, Black Card in there, ATL in there. What's up, Shone Sue, my boy? Yeah, but let me get to my brothers, man. My brothers from another's. I missed you two, gentlemen. We'll start with you, Mr. Pong. So, how you feeling, man? Saturday, what's going on with you today?
Yo, it's been a busy day. Great to be here. I haven't podcasted all week. It was weird hearing those chat names. Great to see you, chat. It's been all week because obviously Mav and Caitlin and the fam went to go visit her dad, and so we didn't do that. Steele had some real life opportunities pop up that he had to take care of this morning. So yeah, man, this is my first and last podcast of the week. Good to be here, man. Great to see everybody in chat. Great to be here with you, of course, Blam, and of course Fuzzy. Hey, Fuzzy, I haven't heard your voice all week either. So
it's crazy, man.
It is crazy, but yeah, no, man. You know, I've been busy too, but just gaming. I'm living the PCMR life right now. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all good, brother. It's okay.
I haven't.
It's all right, man.
I found all these sales. I started talking about this last week, right? I started finding sales, and like, man, when I'm getting games for $1 and $2,
it's crazy.
I haven't
Them
played,
Steam sales are unfair, bro.
Steam, ggdeals.com for anybody who doesn't know. Check out that. GG Deals is like the best. So yeah, I've been rocking out, obviously. Anybody who's watching my feed, Dragon's Dogma 2 continues. Okay, I can't stop playing it. I don't want to stop playing it, so I just keep doing that.
Sweet,
which is awesome. But this week I did try No Rest for the Wicked early access as well.
Oh yeah.
So that came out. I'm considering getting a refund.
Got it. Okay.
It's definitely not that it's a bad game. Obviously, you all know why. If you guys been listening to me long enough.
I'm not into the Souls. Yeah, that's the only thing for me, brother.
It is Souls. There's no difficulty settings, so there's no changing that. The game is gorgeous. The sound is unbelievable. The art direction is exactly what we saw in the trailer. It is freaking fantastic. The loot, the weapons, they all feel good. Like the different combinations, it's like sword and shield, or going with twin blades. It feels completely different. Love all of that. Just the Souls aspects are killing me. They're killing me literally in the game, right? So I'm deciding I may just wind up keeping it because I want to see where they take this game.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be, down the road, hopefully, maybe some co-op and all that kind of.
Okay.
I might keep it. I might keep it just to see what they do with it. It's not something I'm going to ever love, I don't think. It's not going to be one of those games.
Man.
But is it a game that I might go back to time again and just try a little bit more and play a little bit more? Yes. It might be one of those, because it's phenomenal. Music is freaking amazing. The story, it really grabs you.
What do you expect from Moon Studios, man? That's quality.
It is. It's just sad that Moon just really hasn't made a game that appeals to me. I would love them to make a game. I thought this was going to be the one, because Ori Metroidvania, I played a considerable amount of Ori, just again, platformer Metroidvania, not my thing.
Not really. They just can't really get. They keep teasing you, bro. Like they keep.
I know. No, but they're obviously a great studio. They take so much pride in their work. They're a small studio, but they don't look at when you play their games. The exploration PTK in this game too. By the way. Everything that I always talk about when it comes to open world exploration and being rewarded for that.
Oh, I love that.
They've got this in spades, bro. If you think you can get over to that spot, chances are you can actually find a way over to that spot if you don't fall off and die first, which is one of my main problems. Anyways, but if you think you can get over there, you could probably get over there, and there's going to be a chest. There's going to be something there rewarding you. So for me, the old Bethesda brain here, who thinks that way, I'm searching out and looking for little nooks and crannies, and sure enough, there's a lot of them in this game.
I love that stuff.
That part too, but yeah. So otherwise, a couple oddball games out there, but yeah, No Rest for the Wicked. That's my early thoughts on it. I did play some Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm getting back into that because now we got Kingdom Come Deliverance too. Yeah, bro, the year of RPGs. You brought this up,
crazy
PTK.
Right now. Yeah.
Is this the best 2-year run of RPGs?
Man,
if they actually deliver Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, if they actually deliver this in 2024, which they say they are, I think yes. I think this is probably the best stretch run. I don't even think I could find. I don't even think going back.
I don't think it exists, bro. Yeah, I don't really think you could. Yeah.
No. This
absolutely.
is fantastic.
Yeah. So you saying that about No Rest for Wicked hits me a little bit because that was we talked about this off chat, minus you off line everything.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the DM. That was the one thing for me too. I'm not big into. I bought Elden Ring day one, but I got into that combat. I'm like, this ain't really. I'm just not it. This ain't it. It just don't feel good to me. You know what I mean? I understand it's the timing. It's about pairing, the weight of the weapons, being able to counter everything, and a lot of it's timing. For some reason, I can't get over that hump, brother. So I think for me, that might be tough. But like you said, like down the line, maybe it's something I'll get into. But that's hard for me, bro. That's God damn it. I was hoping I would hear otherwise from you, Pong. I really was hoping I would hear a little different, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't report differently because I wanted to see. That's why I picked it up, right?
Yeah.
It was too good, and I was like, I've got to try it. Like it's gonna be $35, but I got to try it and at least give it a go because I really do want to love it. And wouldn't you know it, I watched Steel while he was streaming. I was lurking in his stream and watched him die legitimately. It's got to be Steel can tell us, he's in the chat. Dozen times Steel on the first boss, and I was like, yo, okay, no. Steel dying this many times on the first boss is not a good sign for me at all. And sure enough, I didn't even get to the first boss in my playthrough. I played for 2 hours, didn't get through to my first boss because I was exploring, right? But even some of the regular enemies were doing the dirty work on me. And then, like I said, in an exploration game, this is my biggest pet peeve. I'll let it go. I know we've gone long here. My biggest pet peeve with this, one of my biggest pet peeves is that if you're going to have exploration, in which it does take some really crafty kind of climbing and walking along, like following trees that are really thin, skinny. If you bring that Souls fall damage and it's an instant death when you're trying to go explore and find that treasure chest like that, to me, I'm like, come on, guys, turn down that fall damage a little bit. It's like an instant death. And I was like,
oh yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's an isometric view. So and you can't turn the camera.
Can't really turn. Yeah. You can't.
No, it's fixed.
Oh.
So you're dealing with that. So it's hard to judge sometimes. Again, it's probably a me, get good, Pong. I know I just ain't getting good in these games. But to me, that was one of my biggest pet peeves. But otherwise, again, Moon Studios, they're freaking amazing. I wish I could love their games because I think they do just quality work. I imagine this potentially, obviously as they get it closer to 1.0, does change a little bit from some of the feedback they're getting from people. And maybe by then it'll be a little bit tamer. And that's why I'm considering keeping it right now.
Okay. All right, well, we'll keep that in the tuck. So Towerborn it is for me then. That's all I hear.
Exactly.
Shout out to Moon Studios, though. No dig at the game. I'm sure it's phenomenal, but that's a tough sell for me. But on to my other brother, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. We were chatting it up here pregame. Oh, shout out to Mav, by the way, lurking in here. What's up, brother? We just talking about you. What's up, Brett? What's up, Steel? Shout out to everybody hanging out. Retweet that link. Hit the like button. Let everybody know the Shop podcast is live. But yes, Fuzz, man, what you been up to? I know we talked a little bit about what you've been playing recently.
Yeah. Well, I after watching the whole Fallout, 8 shows.
Oh,
yeah. Like that, decided to hop back into Fallout 4 because the first time around, gave it a go. It didn't really click with me, but I figured after Starfield, learning what I've learned from Starfield, going back to it after watching the series, yeah, it now clicks a lot better. Plus, I'm using PC mods, so it's like, it's a lot more fun,
nice
as far as that's concerned. But also with the announcement, kind of like what Pong had mentioned, with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 being announced, I decided to hop back into Kingdom Come, which unfortunately it's another not play anywhere game. I wish my my Xbox progress carried over, but nonetheless, playing it on PC right now, enjoying it. Don't even have to do mods because they've definitely, for the small team that they are, they've definitely got that game looking great on PC. Because they have like a high texture pack or HD texture pack that you can download and stuff like that. But enjoying that. Also, since I'm playing a lot of stuff on Steam now, bought the boys some games for this past Christmas, and one of them was Sekiro, the Game of the Year edition, which I don't know if they've even touched yet. But with the whole family share thing, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this out. I've been playing a little bit of that. I'd like that better than like your typical Souls games, but it is a timing thing.
I heard that's the hardest one. I mean, once again, I'm sorry, Bloodborne fans, Elden Ring fans. I was told, and I've seen this, that Sekiro is probably maybe one of the more difficult, like, Souls like games as far as what I've heard.
Yeah,
but maybe
for me, I'm able to deal with it easier than I was with Elden Ring. So far, although I haven't really made it quite that far, I'm like past, I think, one major boss and like midway, through the second map or something like that. But it's definitely a harder game, but it's not like, for me, Elden Ring was the harder game because of, you die, you have to run back. With this, it's like my main deaths have been falling off cliffs, because of, like, your jumping ability isn't quite there, and then I realized later you get the what do you call them, the grappling hook or whatever type of deal. But having fun with that. But Kingdom Come Deliverance is going to be probably the jam, as well as Fallout 4 base building there. Still playing Forza Horizon 5.
Nice.
Both cars got unlocked from the community. The truck, the F-150 Raptor last week, and the 2022 or 23 Mustang was unlocked like a couple of days ago or so. So, put the normal blue and white stripe setup on it and stuff, and driving that around. But man, just so many games, so many game related TV shows and potential TV shows. And this is like an awesome time overall for gaming, and we haven't even got to May yet with Hellblade and the June showcase. So, loving it so far, but man, still excited for what's to come here in like the next 30 days or less.
You know what I appreciate, before we get into today's topic, for the first topic, I appreciate that the year ended up this way, because shit was starting to go left for a little bit. Remember, stuff was very, like, it was a lot of controversy going on, and I'm glad the industry, as it almost always fucking does, fixes itself. Good games come out, things happen, and everything just kind of lands where it should anyway.
We're not even through April.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
The ridiculous part. Like, what we've talked about gaming wise already this year is like almost a full year's worth. Yeah. And we've still got 8 months left basically at this point, and we already know the second half.
This is why now. Throwing the baby out the window in January is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is why having those conversations, I can go back. I might go back and re-watch some of the old podcasts we were having around that time. Not us specifically, but the energy in the community was crazy. I'm like, we're in January, February. Look at 2.5 months later, we got we're in an amazing period of time, and I just love to see the ship right itself, as it almost always does, Pong. As it almost always does. So shit lands where it should. Great games come out. People get excited, as they should be, and the ship lines itself up. So
you know what? But we're influenced too, PTK, by just being in this community and being around this bubble, right?
Facts.
Because this place is just people always pessimistic all the damn time, on top of the clown show and everything else. So we get that opinion, but really, again, if you are gaming, there is no way right now. Well, there's always going to be a way. It's your opinion. But I'm just saying, for the most of us that are gaming and that are gaming a lot right now, there is no better time. Like this year is rocking completely on a ridiculous level that I didn't even think it was going to. Even when I said last year that I thought this year could top last year, right?
Yeah.
Even late in the year, I thought this year was lining up. I had no idea what this year was going to turn into. Absolutely insane. But that's part of the reason why we feel that is because we have all the nonsense here.
Facts. So clearing out getting that out of the way, man. Let's get into it, man. I'm down to talk about some Fallout. That's what I wanted to get into first, and not necessarily the TV show, although it is amazing. My opinion, one of the best shows I've ever watched on TV. I'm not a huge TV watcher, but I really wanted to get in just to 100% pun intended the fallout behind the success of the TV show and what it's actually done for the games, the community. It has injected brand new life in the otherwise, I won't say dormant, but just kind of middling. A lot of people love Fallout, but it wasn't as popular as it had been. And to see this TV show, all the praise from the TV show inject this new energy into the Fallout franchise. I mean, all the Fallouts are peaking on Steam. Even people on console are going back and playing these games. I'm seeing a lot of the, people that work there saying, holy moly, like we're hitting new peaks every single day. I just love to see the community getting behind a beloved franchise like Fallout. But I want to start with you on this one, Pong. Once again, I know you love Bethesda. People, is this that Bethesda magic you've been talking about? Is this that Bethesda magic you were talking about? That never really goes away, and people think that it just dies down and they're not doing well, and then boom.
Yeah, this kills me, right? This kills me in a couple of, this cuts both ways for me. First of all, I am absolutely shocked at the amount of people who have never touched a Fallout. Okay, I am absolutely shocked. Okay,
I knew you were going to say that.
I really am. For how many people talk bad about Bethesda, I gotta believe there's actually a large percentage that have never touched a Bethesda game in their life, and they
people
just
telling on themselves
because now they're jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, TV show's great. I better go check out these games. Oh, these games are actually really good. Yeah,
talk your shit, Pong.
Of course they are. Did you see the trophy case that Bethesda has in their studio and how many trophies are in there and awards there are? You want to know why? Because they make damn good games, and they actually have done this for decades, folks. So that first part kind of shocked me, right? So it brings a smile to my face because you are now, and we've talked about this with transmedia and the power of transmedia. We talked about this for years, right? When you can do something like this and you do it right, this is what, obviously Halo was supposed to be for Xbox as well. Unfortunately, it was hit or miss with the fan base and never got the
I'm in the minority. I'm enjoying it.
Right,
I enjoyed it.
Which is fine. Again, that's cool. But I'm just saying it didn't have the mass appeal that Fallout does. And the way that they did this, by respecting the fan base and the IP and the source material, first and foremost.
Outside of New Vegas fans.
That's fine. That's fine. But it doesn't matter because Todd's
I know, I'm just playing. I'm just poking fun, yeah.
Right. And that's fine. Again, I'm not watching the show, so I'm not going to critique the show. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other because I just really don't have any interest. Like I said, if I'm bored at some point and I'm looking for a TV show, will I probably go watch it? Yeah, I probably will. But I don't watch shows like that, even video game shows. Like I can really care less. So, but I'm just saying overall, this is what this transmedia power has. You are now creating a whole new group of Bethesda fans just from a TV show, and now they have 4, 5, 6, depending on how far they want to go back, games that they can jump into. That just means more success for Bethesda. That means when they actually get to work on Fallout 5, right, they're going to have an even bigger fan base waiting for that game and excited for that game. And obviously, if they can continue to run this TV show and more seasons, it's just going to only build from here. It's also going to help Elder Scrolls 6 because people who are jumping into Fallout that maybe, again, never played a Bethesda title before, now realize what Bethesda does. Right? So they're going to be excited. Maybe some of them are even like a little bit more high fantasy people like me. They're going to say, well, now I got to try out Elder Scrolls 6. I never tried out any Elder Scrolls. I got to jump into this game because I really like what they did with the Fallouts. This is absolutely an inflection point for Bethesda and for Xbox, seeing what can happen. Right? I've seen people, sure, the perfect scenario would be that Fallout 5 was coming out next year, right? That would be the perfect scenario, or later this year, right? That would be the perfect scenario. Unfortunately, things don't line up like this. But this is why we've talked about this with Gears. If they can line up those TV shows where Gears 6 is coming out very shortly after, plus you got the Marcus Phoenix collection out, you could see a massive influx of Gears fans again. So I think it's fantastic. I love seeing it. Like I said, it cuts both ways because I like, these new fans who I'm like, where you guys
Where
been?
were you at?
Where you guys been? Are you some of the same people slamming Bethesda? Like, I'm not one of those dudes that goes back and looks, right? I'm not
got
that
them
dude because I can care less. But yeah, I don't pull receipts. I got too much other shit going on.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't do that.
I really don't care. But I just look at people and I'm like, where have you like? And again, I'm not talking about the younger generation. Like the younger generations, I totally get. They missed out on a lot of stuff. Like when Mass Effect got remade, the trilogy got remastered. A lot of people played Mass Effect like Steel for the first time, right? So the younger generations I get, but there's some older gamers out here who are like, oh, I've never played a Fallout game. I guess it's time to I'm like, yo, what? How could you not? Like, okay. But anyways, I think it's fantastic. I think it's doubly important that they found this success in the formula for Xbox to see it going forward. So they don't have showrunners like they did with Halo. And again, excuse me if you like Halo, but you don't have showrunners who disrespect the fans, who say we have zero interest in going and looking at the games because we're not making that type of show. We're not going to even think about the games. You can do it. They did it. But what I'm saying is, if you want this level of success, you have to first get the base right. And that means respecting the IP and what made it popular. It was a video game first. That's what you got to start with. And again, the fact that they translated it like this shows a roadmap to Xbox going forward for the rest of their shows, like Gears, which we already know is being worked on both in anime and a live action, and any other IP, which they've got a ton of IP they could do this with now. I think this is important for that fact alone. Love to see it. I love seeing Todd excited. I've seen the interviews with him. He's loving it.
A 9?
Because, bro. No, that should tell you. That should tell you the word on the street is on IGN.
Yeah, right. Really? 9? What the fuck? Y'all don't do that for us. Yeah.
After Starfield, you gave me a 9. Really?
Yeah, I'll pay you in the back when the cameras is off. Yeah.
But I love to see this. I think this is great. This is the perfect example. And I'm super happy for all the new fans. I'm super happy that I've got a bunch of new Bethesda fans who are going to be supporting Bethesda going forward. And again, maybe some of these people might even go try a Starfield because now they're kind of used to Bethesda way, and they're going to look at that and be like, oh, well, I just played Fallout 4. I mean, Starfield, come on, let's go play it and enjoy Starfield too, which is happening more and more as they patch that thing too. So I'm just happy overall. Great to see, great success here. And can't wait to see what the future brings with more of this transmedia, even if I don't wind up watching it. If Gears comes out, I'm watching it. If Gears anime comes out, I'm watching it. But I'm just saying, like, there's so much other IP they can do this with now. If they want to jump back into what they started with the Xbox One generation, which is something we talked about here for years that I thought they were going to do for sure. At some point, they're going to jump back into owning their own movie and TV studios at some point. Because with this much intellectual property underneath their umbrella and more to come, there is zero reason why they shouldn't have full control over that IP and be able to produce movies and TV shows just like Sony does. Of course, Sony's got tons of experience at a different level.
Yeah, definitely,
but Microsoft and Xbox should start somewhere again like they did during the Xbox One
You know what's funny?
This helps.
We had that I remember us having that conversation around that period of time as well too, that, they should jump into that. They got IPs, and this is before even all of the acquisitions, which before is crazy. So Blizzard, before all of that stuff. Another thing too that I love the fact that you mentioned, this is a win for Xbox. I'm sorry, people. Like, I know you don't want to treat Fallout like it's a benefit for Xbox because they're like, oh, they're just new when they bought them. No, this absolutely 100% benefits Xbox, and I'm glad that you highlighted some of the reasons why it does. Not just Xbox, Microsoft as whole. You know what I mean? Like, this gives them an example that they didn't have before. They didn't have an IP. They had an IP like this, but they didn't have a flagship transmedia, like a show this good that hit this big with this many people. You know what I mean? So like you said, this lays out a blueprint for them going forward. And this is absolutely a win for them. And I'm happy to see that you were sitting there around in Speculation Town at your desk, holding on to those Bethesda stocks with that cigar in your mouth. Like, I know these are going to go up. I know these stocks are going up, and they going up. They going up, Pong. You held the stocks and they're going up, brother. So, but no, it's really, really cool to see, man, for sure. And Chad, I want to know, Chad, I want you guys to tell me, because I've been hearing this, and we're not gonna go too far left because this might get messy. Is Fallout the best video game adaptation you guys have seen on TV? So let me know in the chat, yay or nay. Is Fallout the best video game adaptation you guys have ever seen? Yes or no? We moving on to Fuzz. All right, Fuzz. So, Fuzz, you can kind of build off of what Pong said, but I mean, I've watched the show. I didn't know you didn't watch it, Pong. That's actually pretty surprising, but I understand. I know you have watched the show, Fuzz. So seeing the pun intended fallout of all the success and seeing it, all these IPs, these games aren't new. These Fallout 3 is not a new game. Fallout 4 is not a new game. And seeing these games doing 50, 60K on Steam every day for the last week, for the last 3 or 4 days, it's really impressive, and it takes something special to do that. So be it the fact that Fallout is a Bethesda title, it's a huge franchise. Like, what do you think this means going forward for Xbox, Microsoft, Bethesda, everybody that's going to benefit from this?
I think they start looking in their bag to see what is going to be the next one to go as far as, outside of Gears, because that, from my understanding, is already in the works. But do they take a look at Fable? Do they take a look at Perfect Dark, or do they go with something a little bit more recent? Like I know Todd has already said no to it, but I would love to see a Starfield. But being the sci-fi nut that I am, but it's got to be the right director and all that stuff to approach Todd. Unless Todd retires after Elder Scrolls 6 kind of thing, and then he decides to kind of start doing that type of stuff on his own, basically go from directing games to directing shows type of deal. But yeah, this series, for the most part, I wasn't expecting as much out of it, and it wasn't a knock to the Fallout franchise. It was more so that it's going to be a TV series that's not as big of an IP as like Star Wars or The Mandalorian or something like that. So I didn't really expect that it would grab hold with as many people. And I probably should have known better, given that it was one of those types of games where it has that appeal to some extent, at least here in the States more so, because at times, if you look at the news a certain way, it might almost seem like we're headed for that type of future type of deal. But in the grand scheme of things, it was great to see that a lot of the details that are in the game made their way into the show. And much like Pong said, you can't really have a show that's going to appeal to fans and possibly people outside of the fan base if you don't at least respect the source material. If you're not going to play the game or pay attention to the game or the lore behind the game, then you're doing a disservice to any effort in trying to create a story at that point. I mean, this one in particular, it makes a story that doesn't, copy any of the games directly, but it can be in that same universe, in that same timeline or similar timeline, without it being a big confliction type of deal. Although some of the stuff people are talking about retcon on New Vegas, I guess it depends on what ending you may have had. But outside of that, just the fact that they got the details down. But looking at the game aspect, like you said, a game that's 9, almost 10 years old is now charting on Steam, is now charting on the competitor's box, considering that, they don't like Bethesda games after the acquisition, or they say, who plays old games? But, a lot of people apparently do. I mean, sure, the sale helped as far as the reduce in price and things like that, but whether it was a reduce in price, I think you would still see an influx of people still going back to that game. Like, I already purchased the physical copy back in 2015. And like I said, it didn't click back then, but post Starfield, I now have a better understanding on how to approach that open world setup. As far as when it comes to Fallout 76, a lot of people crapped on that game, and it didn't release in the best condition. It wasn't what people were expecting. No NPCs, and the content wasn't quite what people were hoping for. But over time, they've definitely got that thing going, and people were saying it's in a terrific state even before the show was announced type of deal. So now a lot of people finally get the chance to see that and come back to that game and see it probably in its best format at this point. But, just seeing the numbers of people going back to a game that, one of them being almost 10 years old, some of the others being more than 10 years old, and the more recent one still being, was it 5 or 6 years old? So it's great to see. And the only negative I would say is that Fallout 5 is not in the immediate or near future at best. And this would be like a Hail Mary kind of thing. We could see something in 5 years, but I think it's even further out than that, unless some miracles being worked behind the scenes where, that unannounced Oblivion or Obsidian game is, something dealing with Fallout, like a New Vegas 2 or another location in their style of Fallout game. But I don't know if that's in the cards. Even if they were to have, like, In Exile, after they finish Clockwork Revolution, do kind of like a remake or a reboot of 1 and 2 in the older style, if that might be a nice holdover. But I don't even know if that would work as well either. But overall, it's just great to see a lot of people getting back into the game or experiencing, like Pong said, for the first time, where they may have ignored, a Fallout game or whatnot in the past. And now the TV show has kind of caught their attention, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's kind of like the whole deal that we've talked about before on this podcast with, the transmedia aspect. It's like you want to have a game that leads into an IP that you can market as a movie or a show, which will then turn more people back to the game that you can monetize by either selling more of the game or later series or iterations of the game. So it's great that they're on that feed loop now. We've seen, positive outcomes with the Last of Us as far as when that TV series was out there and stuff. And it'd be great if the Gears one can be timed just right when they hopefully make some sort of announcement here in June. But it's awesome to see. Having fun with Fallout 4. I'm not the Fallout 76 type. I know one of my sons, played it and hasn't touched it since, but after watching a couple of the shows, he's thinking about hopping back into 76. And I guess they give you the option to, like, skip 20 levels or something like that. So you're not, starting from square one, with no perks or anything like that type of deal. But overall, great game, great show. Couldn't happen to a better team with Bethesda, and Xbox, gets to reap the benefits of that acquisition.
100%.
Yeah, and hopefully we see more of this type of stuff within that company. As far as, I definitely would love to see a Starfield,
TV show
or a movie or something. I mean, an anime of even Hi-Fi Rush for that matter.
Yeah,
would be an awesome
that
deal.
Would go crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they got plenty to pull from, and I know Sony's trying to acquire Paramount now, and we'll see if they can make that deal with Apollo or whatnot. But if not, I would say it might be in Microsoft's best interest to do a counter offer and see where it goes from there. But we'll see how things turn out. But so far, it's great to see Fallout in the the media's eyes and in the glowing reviews, both on the show and revisiting the game and whatnot. It's good to see.
Definitely. I'm in one thing, just to kind of give my quick review here. I mean, one thing for me, and I'm throwing myself under the bus too, Pong. I didn't play much Fallout either. I knew about it. I played it a couple times, but I didn't really get into it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really get into the world, the characters. To be fair, I didn't give it much of a chance either, to be fair. So that's 100% on me. I don't blame anybody else for my lack of knowledge regarding Fallout video games. But this show has infinitely piqued my interest. It was that good. You know what I mean? I put on Twitter, I think it's probably one of the best shows I've ever watched on TV in a very, very, very long time. So it was that good to where it had me like, man, I need to go ahead and download this Fallout 76, this Fallout 4, because it felt like that's a world that I needed to be in, Pong. And, the funny thing is the last time I felt like that was Starfield. You know what I mean? Starfield felt like a world that I needed to be in. And maybe that's the Bethesda magic that you've always talked about. Some people don't catch it, and me being one of them, don't catch it early, or even the first one or two times we might touch a Bethesda game. But at some point, man, like it's kind of crazy. They do have this ability to draw you in if you give it enough leeway. You know, like some people are just super strict and have all these rules and goalposts about the type of video games that they play. I'm not one of those kind of people. I was just telling Fuzz before the show, I just got done playing Orcs Must Die 3 with my wife. So I'll play almost anything. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man.
Exactly.
I downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet. So.
Yeah, so very, very fun game.
Yeah,
my son was playing it. Yeah, so very, very fun game. Was watching him play it. Extremely fun. So like for me, jumping in, I'm not afraid to give this universe a spin. And on top of the fact that you say what you want about Bethesda, but they absolutely will support their games. They do their best to turn these games around. They will take shit for years, and they have. And a lot of times it's because of them. But they will really do their best to make the games, like get the games to where they really need to be. And they did. They could have gave up on 76, Paul.
Oh, of course.
They could have. A lot of other devs. Yeah,
we saw it during the ABK deal. There was an internal email where Phil was questioning whether or not they should keep it alive. They said it was going to have to show numbers in order to keep it alive, but they did. They did. They've worked for years on that thing now to get it to where it is now. So yeah.
So I have been indoctrinated into the house of Bethesda. At this point, I've been bathed in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. That's great. by God Howard himself, man. No, but it's just, I just love it. I love the worlds. They're so they just let you do what you want. Even though the TV show, I'm glad you brought this up, Fuzz, that the TV show is interesting because it introduces you to characters, but they feel like playable characters, like characters you created. They feel like characters you created. It's weird that like they have a personality, they have names, but I feel like I've created the character. It's a very interesting aspect that I've very few times that's happened where I've been not interested, but that invested in a character. Even though it felt like, I don't know much about him to start with, but feels like a creative character. So that's a really, really fucking cool aspect. And it bled over, like you said, the energy behind this transmedia. This is what's supposed to happen. I just said, and I'm one in the minority regarding Halo, but I do understand what Halo could have been. The Halo TV show could have been. And this is what we talk about, Pong. You got to be able to stand in the kitchen and take the criticism. Yep. I'm not one of those Halo fans who just throws shit out the window and anybody saying it's not good and it's bad. I'm just not trying to hear that. I'm not that kind of fan. I'll take the criticism. I understand what you guys are trying to say. So this is proof. This is proof. Like if Halo had maybe done what it could have done, it may have gotten this level of interest in a lot of people. You never know, Paramount or not. A good show is a good show, and we're seeing it. You know what I mean? So I think ultimately for me, this is great for Xbox, great for Microsoft, great for Bethesda. It gives them some respect back. God damn it, because I feel like they've been a bit disrespected, Pong, a little bit. People talk about them like they're AA sometimes. It gets crazy. And I know you don't like that, Pong, but and you see those guys show up. Oh, you're streaming Fallout. Oh, okay. No, but I'm just giving you a hard time. But no, it's a special game and a special TV show. And kudos to everybody who worked on this. The casting is phenomenal. They nailed the casting. I don't know if you agree with that too, Fuzz. I know you watched the show as well. What do you think about the casting?
They got, I would say, perfect people for that environment and for the story that they're telling. Like it fits. You got the naivety of the the vault dweller. You have the badassery of the ghoul, and then you have like the I guess the character growth of Maximus as far as from being a kid in a refrigerator when the bombs dropped to being picked on through his military training, and then kind of stepping up and wind up being one of the main guys towards the end as far as for the Brotherhood and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and I think they picked good people as far as for those roles, so it fits. I'm curious to see what the ghouls move is going to be for season 2, because I'm assuming there's some more people in Vault 31, and I'm not going to spoil anything beyond that. But I'm looking forward to seeing how that kicks off. But it was awesome from start to finish, and it kept on churning or growing as far as you could feel that it was coming to a crescendo at the end type of deal. So I was happy to see how it turned out, and looking forward to season 2, I guess, next year. So
yeah, definitely.
I'll just throw this out here, right? I think that for the Fallout fans, right? And again, I really enjoy Fallouts, right? I played them, of course. I'm a Bethesda guy, right? New Vegas is still my favorite. But again, whenever I run through my list of, top 5 RPGs of all time, it's not in there. Elder Scrolls is, but Fallout isn't. But it's still way up on the list. It's just not always, in that conversation for me personally, but I love the world. But I'm going to say this for all the Fallout fans who have been already, stirring it up. And I mentioned before how long it's going to be potentially before we see Fallout 5. If Bethesda follows, the same timeline they've been on, right? You're looking at, probably 8 to 9 years, right? Before we get Fallout 5. Woo! But what I'm going to say here is that we might not have the Fallout 5 ready to rock and roll for this show, but I think this show internally at Xbox, if there wasn't already discussions with Obsidian and Bethesda about doing another in between,
I see what you're saying,
I think there's probably, and again, this is just me. I love making up stories in my head, everybody. So, which a lot of these guys out here do anyways, but I love making up stories. But I got to think that after the success, after the signing for season 2 and seeing the reaction of the numbers of people that are flooding into the older Fallout games, and Fallout 76, which is going to be a huge boon because that's money. That is big money right there. All those people hopping into Fallout 76. I think there's probably, if there hasn't already, there's going to be a couple of extra Zoom calls going on with everybody trying to figure out how they can get it done. I think that Obsidian is allowed to go back and make an in-between game. Because think about it, if they start it now, let's say we are approximately 9 years away from Fallout 5, all things considered, right? Obsidian could start one of their games, New Vegas style game, which is not necessarily as big as a Fallout 4. We know what Obsidian's good at. We know what they do. We could get that new New York, new Chicago, new whatever in between game within probably 4.5, maybe 5 years max. You're talking about capitalizing on this popularity still, because you got to imagine, unless they screw things up terribly with season 2, this is a show that is open-ended. You could take this forever. This is like story after story can be built around Fallout, right? So you're potentially talking that you could have a show run for 3-4 years. If Obsidian get to work right away on something and start the process, you could capitalize on this and have another in-between game from Obsidian, which is, again, of course, a part of the beloved Fallout IP. They're in there. Like, people think New Vegas is the best, again, me included. So you could have that game. And I think this has got to start conversations if they weren't already happening. This has got to be Phil going, Todd, listen. I know you just want to be the only guy that makes the mainline Fallouts. We get it. But we got to give Obsidian another chance. We know they showed you up a little bit with New Vegas, but come on, Todd. Got to let the ego go. Let's get these guys on another Fallout. We got to capitalize on this because they'd be dumb not to at this point.
Yeah,
I think that's probably going to happen.
That's a great proposition, and we talked about this too when they made the acquisition. We realized they got in Exile, Obsidian, Bethesda. They got all these fantastic RPG makers under one umbrella. This is a rare opportunity. This almost never happens, Spawn. You don't ever get a team like Bethesda and a team like Obsidian who make a phenomenal game that everybody agrees and critically agrees universally it's a great game. They split up, and then like 15, 20 years down the line, they get an opportunity to work together again. When is the last time this ever happened? That almost never happens. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool that this actually is a possibility, and with the success, dollars make sense. Them ratings make sense. Like Satya, everybody looking at them ratings like, shit, this is really a thing. And like you said, you almost have unlimited source material that you can draw from. You got tons of games and books and all this lore and all this stuff that you can draw from, and the energy's there. People want it. People want more of it. So people are going to be thirsting for Fallout anything. So, and I like what shout out to Decado. You see what he said in the chat. He said in Exile, Fallout Tactics 2, Obsidian any isometric, Bethesda, Fallout 5 at Pong Soul. So you got a lot of combinations, man.
You do. I mean, again, would an Exile go back to that style? Would they give up Wasteland? We know they're probably going to do Wasteland.
Yeah.
They want to go back to Wasteland, but approach with the Fallout IP now to go back and do another tactics style. That's their baby, man. That's their original baby. You have to think that they would consider putting Wasteland on hold. They did 3 games and make a new Fallout tactics style isometric game. Like, it would make a lot of sense, and people would probably gobble it up because there is a big group of Wasteland fans, right? So it would be interesting. That's an interesting thought too, Ducato, that In Exile could possibly go back to it as well. I'd love to see it. I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't want to see it. Of course I want to see it. Of course. It'd be great.
Facts. No, you're right. It's interesting, and I'm glad we started off with this topic because I hadn't got a chance to talk about Fallout last week, and just seeing just everything, the cascade of energy come out of the TV show and hit every, single piece of media on the way down is fucking awesome. And you don't get to see it. This is a huge win for everybody involved, including Xbox, Microsoft, because they do benefit from this. Sorry, fanboys, they do. I know you're trying to take the credit away and say they don't. They do. Sorry. So it is what it is. But we're moving on to the next topic, and I threw this one in here. It's kind of for me and Fuzz a little bit. I wanted to talk a little about. I know Tom Henderson, shout out to Tom, put out a tweet about Division Heartland and just kind of what's going on with it. We ain't got to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I kind of wanted to squeeze it in there. And Pong, did you get a chance to see that tweet about Division Heartland and the current state or the lack of information? Okay, I just want to make sure we all on the same page. So I kind of wanted to get into that a little bit because you see the success of these older games like a Fallout. You see Fallout 76, and then you look at a game like Division 2, Fuzz. You're like, why the fuck? Why is it not share? Why isn't it up there with the Destinies, and why isn't it looked at in the same vein and having all the success, even as an older game, right? 76 isn't a new game. Now, I'm not saying they're the same kind of game, but what I mean is that it's absolutely possible to inject new life in an older IP. So kind of, disheartening a little bit as a big Division fan. Obviously, Eves and Ubi haven't been in my win column in a while. He hasn't gotten a W in a minute for me. So just kind of where you at on, Division, the current state. Obviously, Ubi, what they're doing. I know, didn't this X Defiant beta come out recently? Wasn't there some kind of demo of some sort come out as well too?
Yeah, they had a test thing not too long ago, and I guess they had a secondary one as a follow up.
Yeah, I thought I saw that.
A lot of people are like, it's in a better place than when they originally launched it, but it seems like that one is the one that they really want to push because I guess they figure they can monetize it better. Heartland had similar timing for their test or beta builds and things like that. Didn't participate in that one because I didn't want to install it on PC. So it's weird that they've talked about it. It was supposed to be a go like by this point this year. Resurgence already had its open beta, I think it was, or like some sort of register thing that you could have done. But they mainly did it for mobile, although I guess some people got to do it for PC as well. But it looks like that one got a little bit of a delay, but X Defiant is the one that's being pushed to the head of the line, and Heartland just, given that there's this buzz about
Star Wars
extract. Well, no, not
Star
Wars, but the extraction shooter genre. So I know a lot of people will debate me on this, but Division really started it. Now, Escape from Tarkov is probably more famously known. It was more so in beta form while it was still, while the Division was actually launched or full release. So with the Dark Zone, that is more of your extraction shooter than your Escape from Tarkov type of deal. At least at that point in time, they came out around 15, 16 or 2015 or 2016 time frame. But they've had this genre. They've kind of, left their or took their eyes off the prize kind of thing and let it kind of, dissipate a bit. Like there's still people playing Division 1 mainly because of the Dark Zone in comparison to Division 2. Like there's still a decent number of people playing Division 2, but there's something about Division 1's Dark Zone setup that's, I guess, more appealing overall. A little bit different mechanics in comparison. I guess it's a little bit trickier, even though they've kind of changed the map a bit. So you don't have like the hiding areas that you used to that were hard to get get the rogues and stuff like that. But yeah, it's weird that the focus now has moved to X Defiant being the one that they're going to push to, go head to head with Call of Duty, which the feedback I've heard from those that were in the beta, it's like Call of Duty has nothing to worry about type of deal.
Same. I heard the same thing.
Which doesn't bode well for X Defiant, but I guess it's a better, game than what it was when I think I first played it. Like the thing that pissed me off on the early builds of it was that the cleaners, people that had flamethrowers were, instead of using fire or anything like that, they were using green stuff to kind of heal their group. So that was like their super ability. And that just went totally against what all those years of playing in the Division. It's like, no, cleaners are supposed to set everything on fire, not, heal everything on the floor kind of thing. But it just, I don't know. Eves is probably still looking at how to monetize things. They've monetized Division 2 a little bit better than the initial monetization they introduced in Division 1, but Heartland, it's still MIA for the most part. Like I said, most of the people that have been in the more recent tests that I'm aware of said it's in a good enough state to release it. They're probably better off releasing it and then making whatever adjustments that they're still doing behind the scenes after the fact, because that way they would have the feedback of the larger community overall. But Eves is trying to figure out how he can, make you pay $5 for the pom-pom beanie and, the leather jacket or the fireman outfit or whatever kind of thing. Instead of, putting the game out there where if it's free to play, yeah, that stuff makes sense. If you're going to charge 40 to 70, which I might be enough of a knucklehead to pay 70 for it, just being the Division stan I am, at least get it out there so that way people can play it. And then you see, oh, well, maybe we should, adjust this here and adjust that there. But, keeping that thing on the back burner as long as they have, people are going to forget about it. And from what I hear, Escape from Tarkov is probably closer to a 1.0 release, which it never seemed like they were ever going to release that game as like a 1.0 for the longest time. But they've done a few things that signify that they're getting closer to that. And I can't remember if it's a rating thing that they're doing or something else that they're doing that signifies that it's more a lot closer than what it was before. They've started canceling some of the early pre-order stuff that they did before as well, where the midnight bundle is no longer available or something to that effect. But yeah, that game, if that game comes out to a 1.0, hits Steam, and then Steam winds up on Xbox, Ubisoft might as well just cancel Heartland at that point and maybe even consider canceling Division 3 at that point. But I don't know. It just feels like Ubisoft is off track, or at least the leadership is off track compared to the devs. Like it always feels like the devs are not allowed to make the game that they want to make when it comes to, Ubisoft. And I almost wish Vivendi kind of bumped him out of there or bumped Eves out of there.
Well, the funny thing about that is that it's crazy because you see them do something like Star Wars Outlaws and you see the energy. People are excited for that game. That's massive. That's the same people that made Division. You know what I mean? Yeah. Same exact people. May not be one-to-one same group, but you know what I mean? Same team of people that made the game. And you see how well that game's being received. Now, if it has to hit, game hasn't come out yet. It has to hit, but everything's lining up for it to be a hit game. You know what these teams can do. You have a IP, established IP with lore, with a dedicated community like Pong. those elements are like those things are not very easy to establish. We talk about like video games and, you know, trying to, you know, all these new IPs coming out, just trying to like wiggle their way in and find some room. It's hard to establish, especially in the shooter space. I don't care what kind of shooter it is. It could be extraction, it could be, you know, battle royale. It's hard to kind of find a space, and you already have an IP that's done that. And the fact that they've just completely ignored it is egregious, Paul.
We've talked about this so many times, brothers. I don't have the hours you guys have in Division, but I do have hundreds of hours between the two divisions, right? Hundreds. I enjoy Division so much. Ubisoft has wasted so many IP at this point. They've bastardized the Tom Clancy name. And again, I'm hoping they're figuring things out. They have bright spots like Star Wars Outlaws. Of course, there's a chance they're going to do the Splinter Cell reboot, remake, whatever you're going to call it, right, and bring that back. But the Division has been completely fumbled, and it was fumbled with Division 2 when they gave up on the game, pulled the team, and then decided, oh, wait, there's something here. Wait, let's try again. Oh, wait, just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, just kidding, guys. It was cool. Oh, wait. You guys are really excited again. Let's try it. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
I'm laughing to stop myself from crying.
Listen. I feel the same. You guys know, like I said, I don't have the hours you guys do, but you know how much I love it. We went back. We sold copies when they came back the first time, right? We were selling copies on the Fun Speculation family.
Definitely.
Like we, you know, again, we had the guild started up. We had everybody jumping back in. Like, again, this is the game that Ubisoft has been chasing. The golden goose that they had been chasing, they already had. Now, to Fuzzy's point, the Division 2 had its issues because they pissed so much of the original fan base off with the changes. And because, Fuzzy, the number one reason why they screwed up Division 2 was because they took away snow. Everybody knows they had snow in Division 2.
I knew that was coming.
Half the fan base
the damn snow
ignored the rest of the problem because the snow atmosphere was the greatest thing ever, one of the greatest atmospheres ever done in a video game, hands down. I'm sorry, it is.
So I argued, Pong, before the show started, that Division 2, in my opinion, did everything better than Division 1 minus the atmosphere. And that was the one thing you had to get right, and they fumbled it. Because everything else is in the dark zone stuff. Yes, splitting up the dark zone. Those two things they fumbled, but I think everything else it was an improvement in my opinion. So. Sure,
but they also screwed up the loot system for a while. That again,
took them a minute.
There was so many problems to get it right. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. But the problem being is what we see now with Ubisoft. This is what happened with Skull and Bones. This is what's happened with so many games. They waffle all the damn time. X Defiant should have been out years ago. They waffle all the damn time. They go in, oh, let's go chase this. Oh, this is hot now. Let's go make these changes. Now you hear X Defiant is chasing Call of Duty. Are you freaking kidding me, folks? This is the same as Sony trying to create the Halo killer. You can't do it. When you come for the king, you got to be better in so many different ways, and Ubisoft doesn't have that. They've got the talent, but they don't have that magic to pull that off. Now, X Defiant certainly could be successful. I hope X Defiant turns into something. It's always great to have competition in the space, but to directly, if all the word is on the street correct, if they're directly internally trying to compete with Call of Duty and they're continuously making changes on the fly during development, which should be already wrapped up, and they are still having these devs go back and change things sometimes on a daily basis because, oh, we got a better idea. This is how we're going to catch Call of Duty. Stop it. Make your game. Make the best damn version of your game and stop worrying about chasing these big giant franchises that honestly, if they will tumble on their own. They're not probably going to be toppled. The chances they're going to be toppled by some outside game that comes out of nowhere is slim to none. They will topple with a combination of their own problems and then newer stuff coming along and taking away the fan base. But you can't go out going after the king with a brand new IP, okay? It's just it's not a recipe for success. Make the best damn game you can, whatever version that is, and put it out there. And if you want to change it then, if you want to work on it, Put it in the fuck. I don't understand why these companies have such issues with early access. Put it in the early access. Build it with the community. Let the community tell you what's working, what's not working. Like so many games are
keeping
doing
the shit
nowadays.
secret. Like they got like 20 people playing the game, and they're like, yeah, you 20 people. What do you guys think? And that's it. And it's like, what? Like,
what's that gonna do for you? Like again, if you're going. This is the problem with The Division. This is the problem with Heartland. Why not just put out Heartland to everybody and have everybody play Heartland openly and talking about it? Put it into early access. Let Heartland be developed. But so right now, for me personally, I don't have any hype around Division Heartland, even though I love Division.
Same.
I really don't.
Same.
I really could care less at this point. Until they announce Division 3 or until Heartland comes out and appears to be Division 3, which from everybody that I've heard that's played it is not at all.
Yeah.
This is just a spin-off little title on the side trying to do a couple little different things, but this is definitely not Division 3. So I don't want to hear about it. Honestly, until you guys are ready to commit to Division 3, until you're ready to get the full backing of Massive on a brand new Division 3 game in which you take everything you learned from Division 1 and Division 2 and you announce Division 3 and I see snowflakes, I don't want to hear about it, okay? I don't want to hear about it till then. I can't get hyped around Heartland. It's sad, but I just can't. There's too much other stuff to play, man. There's too much other there really is. Ubisoft has wasted so many opportunities. It makes me so frustrated because Ubisoft has so much talent and they have such great teams over there that can do things like we're seeing from Massive right now with Star Wars Outlaws if you give them the chance. But yet Ubisoft and Yves, again, the Guillermo family and why they think they understand gaming is beyond me.
Man.
They need to step aside. They need to go out and get a Vince Zampella to come in and show them how to do things. They need to go find somebody and let that person be the figurehead who teaches them what actually goes into building a fun game first and then monetizing it second. That has always been the problem with Ubisoft for the past decade. Again, not that they haven't made great games. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise. I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed Red, obviously. So again, Assassin's Creed is the one that they seemingly have made work, even if they've tried very hard to screw it up, it still works out in their favor, right? So Valhalla was $1 billion game, right? So they figured the Assassin's Creed out, and now it seems like they are even trying to make it even better by doing the smaller experience and then bigger experience, smaller experience, bigger. I love that. That's great. But everything else, all their other IP for the most part, they've just bastardized and wasted time and time again. And Division is just the latest one out that obviously should never have been put on the back burner the way it was.
Ever.
It should never have gotten to this point where Heartland has disappeared for long stretches. When they do finally, decide to show it, they give a beta with completely rock solid NDA so nobody can talk about it. Like, this is not the way you treat your big franchise. Division could have been their golden goose and they threw it away. So I want to hear about the Division 3. I don't want to hear about Heartland.
Yep. Facts. I'm with you on that, chat. You guys know how I got thousands of hours. Me and Fuzz, obviously, thousands of hours in that game, man. Playing all night, and just it sucks to see it. You know what sucks the most, Pong, and I'm gonna reiterate this. It's hard to get. It's hard. Those things that you just talked about, those things are hard to establish for any video game, new, old. It's hard to establish a fan base. It's hard to carve out a niche in that shooter genre. They were able to do that. And instead of doing that, you saw the game and said, no, we could do something else. Like, I get it. Everybody likes the game. Yeah, whatever. Let's go do X Defiant. We got some Call of Duty shit we need to try and figure out. And then we're going to work on this Assassin's Creed. People didn't like the open world, so we're going to make it smaller. Then we'll go back to open world a little later when people forget that they don't like the open world. So we'll go back to that. We'll do 3 or 4 games of the regular Assassin's Creed shit. We'll go right back to the open world in about 3 or 4 games. So this is how Ubisoft thinks. I don't understand, Pong. You have everything this game should be talked about amongst the Apexes, all those games, the Destinies, all those, and it just isn't.
And they got an easy win here too. I think you guys will back me up on this. If they announce Division 3 by Massive,
that's a dub.
The full original, but they showed off when they first show it off, it lives up to the original trailer for Division. With all of the atmosphere and the gun, remember how the bullets on the cars and all that kind of stuff. All this, the tech has now caught up. Like that was a bullshit, right? That was a bullshit.
Yeah, they cheesed us.
They did
that demo, not demo, but they showed. They watched
Dogs. That was a Ubisoft, one of their BS, right? Their bullshots that they did. If they just released a Division 3. And it had everything that they had originally shown in that first trailer, man, oh man, would the original fans come back? And you take what you learned from how you screwed up 2 and you go back to closer to 1, but then take into everything that you did learn through 2, in which you did actually fix and you did actually make exciting through the loop process and all that kind of stuff. And you just built that game, Division 3. I'm telling you, you would have that fan base coming back, me included.
We know that, Paul. Why don't they know that? Why don't they know that?
Because Yves thinks he's smarter than everybody freaking else is. And it is crazy to me, man. Yves knows nothing. Like, I just shouldn't say that. He's obviously a very smart man who's running huge businesses. So who am I? But I'm just saying, when it comes to gaming, he thinks he's smarter than some people who are actually in gaming this time and understand this thing. And we've heard this internally behind the scenes. We've heard all the problems that Ubisoft has had publicly. We've also heard behind the scenes for people who have worked for Ubisoft that all of that's true and more. That this actually does happen during meetings when they are talking about an IP. The big shots who are in charge of that IP, or the Yves and anybody else that's present in the meeting, goes, yeah, but how we're going to make money off of this? That's what they want to know first.
Ridiculous.
Before, right. And again, this is like, again, it's behind the scenes, but this is stuff that I trust. Like, I'm not doing the whole, I know people.
Yeah, I know.
I trust that this is true, that in these meetings, it legitimately is, yeah, but how are we going to monetize this? Before anything else. And that's what caused Splinter Cell to disappear for an entire generation, was literally that fact.
Yeah.
How are we going to monetize it? That's again, that's sad.
It's insane, bro. It's crazy just to think that like you said, the number of IP at Ubisoft, the talent. He looks at the games like slot machines, not video games.
Right.
And it's sad that you have a guy like that. And once again, I don't know him personally or anything, but just your track record, it's shit. Like it's only gotten worse. Like, I mean, there's some hits along the way. I'm not giving you credit for any of those hits. I'm not giving you any credit for that. If Star Wars come out and it's good, maybe get a little bit of credit, but I'm not giving you credit. I'm gonna give credit to Massive. But yeah, you're 100% right. And Chad, I want to know if Ubi decided that idea that you just said, Pong, if they decided to go back and say, you know what, we're gonna dump the resources, the technology's there, the hardware's there, the engines are there now. We got all the tools we need. We're much closer to PCs than we ever been. We got probably more consoles in the next 2 or 3 years, so that's happening. Would you guys get back into Division? Would you guys be excited for Division 3 if they decided to do that? So yes, yay or nay in the chat. So let us know if that's something you guys would be into. For us, would you? It probably
absolutely.
would be a.
Absolutely. Like, if they went and looked back at a lot of the stuff that they showed us in those demos back then, and was able to make that a real thing in the game, even that drone deal, whether somebody wants to connect by mobile or tablet or what have you, I'd be all for that. Like that, I think at that point, that game would give them what Destiny was for Bungie.
Yep.
And considering Bungie's at the end of its rope, well, I wouldn't say end of its rope, but the Destiny is wrapping up. Final Shape is coming, and it's supposedly the end of Destiny at that point. They wouldn't really have much of a challenge in that MMO type space as far as for console. They should be able to clean up real easily at that point. Like I think if they went back to what they showed us for the Division, where it was a little bit harder core, especially with mix in some of the survival aspects. Don't make it a survival game, but have the survival mode, or at least add like maybe some of the clothing, like there's a winter, warning or whatever. You make sure you wear your jacket type of deal. add stuff like that in there, yeah, I think you'd get even some of those from Destiny to hop over. A lot of them that originally were down with the Division and saw that some of the stuff wasn't like what they showed, went over to Destiny like right afterwards. So yeah, they stand a good chance of having that diamond in the rough that they could pretty much count on it making money or printing money for them afterwards. But I don't know. It's almost like I wish I could go back in time and help Vivendi, get the Guillemot family out of there. But that would be an easy ticket for me to hop back into that game.
Definitely. So it's crazy that we're talking about this game this way, Fuzz. Like it doesn't make any sense at all, man. I know I'm super invested and I got thousands of hours, but it just doesn't, because you have everything. Oh, by the way, I put a poll up as well to chat, so you guys can see the poll if you want to vote on the poll for Division 3, yes or no. Let us know, and we'll before the end of the show's over, we'll kind of check the poll out and see what you guys what the results are. But yeah, it upsets me and it's frustrating because Pong, I remember like there was a point where Eve was kind of like, it looked like he might like turn things around at Ubi. There was a period where like things like he looked like he had a plan. I don't know if you remember.
There's signs, right? Again, what they're doing with the Assassin's Creed franchise, I'm all on board with, right? There are signs that they understand. Star Wars Outlaws, again, we'll see how the final game turns out, but it looks like, again, they got it. I didn't play Avatar yet, but I did hear from some people that it was actually a pretty fun game. Again, from Massive, of course, right? So there are signs here that they do understand some things, but there are just, and again, Splinter Cell will go a long way to rebuilding my faith that they get it, right? If they let that team reboot Splinter Cell, and it's not all about the monetization, and it's legit a stealth action game like the original Splinter Cells, right? I will say, okay, they are understanding some things. It seems like we just have this group of games that in the past were started development in the past 8 years, right? At some point, and just changed direction, right? And they all went through these ups and downs. Again, Skull and Bones, that's why I say 8 years, right? Skull
8 years, yep.
That just got in the mix of when they were really lost, always chasing the golden goose. So I have hope that they have figured out that that's not going to work. Now, do I trust Yves? No, as far as I can throw them. I don't. The Guillermo family have already proven who they are. They still haven't fixed their internal problems. We know that. There was some reports, I think even earlier this month or maybe last month, that Ubisoft still has massive HR problems internally, that the stuff that came out publicly still has not been addressed. So they've got other things going on. So no, I don't trust the Guillermo family. I don't trust Yves. I don't think that they completely, but there are signs that they're letting at least some of their teams do what they do best, which is go make games, right? So now we'll see how that translates down the road. We'll see how many if that trend continues or if this is just a passing fad. But I think there are, certain things you can bet on, a little bit that Ubisoft is trying to do right by some of their franchises. So let's cross our fingers. And obviously Assassin's Creed continued success helps. Yeah. If they can do a Star Wars Outlaws right, and that has really big success for them, that will also be in our favor as gamers, right? Allowing a team to go do and make a game with a licensed IP that was very expensive, but allowing them to make a game that they wanted to make. Now I know people have a problem with the Ultimate Edition, all that kind of, that's Ubisoft's formula. I don't know why people are so shocked. It's been going on forever. They've locked missions behind pre-orders.
Battlefront. What are we talking about? Yeah,
bro, they've locked missions behind all sorts of things. Like they've done this for a long time. Why Star Wars Outlaws is getting the attention, I don't know. But again, ultimately, if the game comes out and it's as good as it's sounding to be right now and looking, that will be a big W for Ubisoft and for us gamers as well. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Absolutely. So yeah, like you said, there's glimmers, there's flickers, there's things that are there to grab onto. Quick question: the next Assassin's Creed chat, is that the one in Japan, right? The next mainline one, correct? Or the next one up, or is it that which one? The one where it's like, you guys remember?
Yeah, I can't remember because it's either Red or it's Jade.
Yeah, it's Red.
Jade is the mobile one. Yeah, Jade is the mobile one.
Okay. Jade is the mobile, so Red is the one that's set in Japan.
And that's a full-fledged, probably $70. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'll be a big open world game. That'll be a big open world game.
Oh, I didn't say I hadn't heard that. I didn't hear.
That's not the small one because they just had Mirage, which was their small one, right? Mirage was a smaller experience, more like the classic Assassin's Creed. Red is up next, which is going to be the full open world, big experience like we've come to either love or hate or in between with Assassin's Creed. And then their next one after that is Hexen, which is
Hexen.
that's the Hexen. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one with all the it has a little
That's going to be about the witches. It's about the end of the Roman Empire, right? With the witches and the witch trials in the Roman Empire, and that's going to be another supposedly smaller experience. Now we'll see if they stick to that. If Red takes off and is another $1 billion game, will they actually stick to it, or will they make Hexen something big and chase that golden goose again? We'll see. But supposedly Hexen will be that smaller Mirage type experience. But that's the one I got my eye on for sure. And Red is going to be fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's at least on par with Ghost of Tsushima, if not better. That's
a high bar.
That new target. Well, see, the thing is, Ghost of Tsushima kind of built a Ubisoft or an Assassin's Creed style game before they even went to that region. So it's it'll be interesting to see the story that they have to tell. Like the one for Ghost of Tsushima is a fitting one. I'm looking forward to see what Ubisoft does in that same area, and if they give you more options as far as your play style. If you want to play the samurai, if you want to play, the ninja, or if you want to play somewhere in between, or you just want to be a brawler of some sort. Although I don't know how well that'll work against swords and stuff, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. I'm looking forward to it.
Fuzz, kind of off topic, but Fuzz, you brought up Ghost of Tsushima. Did you watch any Steel's playthrough of Where Winds Meet, beta that they've got out? Yo, you got to check out Where Winds Meet, okay? This is from a first-time studio called Everstone Studio. I was watching Steel play this game, and a lot of people in his chat, again, I was lurking because I was at work, but I was watching it because I'm very interested in this game. A lot of people called it out. Looks like Ghost of Tsushima in a lot of ways. But this
is that PC only?
Studio. No, it's supposed to be coming everywhere. It's supposed to be coming everywhere. The beta is only on PC, right?
Makes sense.
But what they already have, from everything I saw and from Steel talking to me in the DMs, now we didn't get to talk today because we were gonna talk about today. But from everything I saw him playing, this game is already polished. This game is already doing things that even Ghost of Tsushima didn't. This feels like a giant game. They're going to have multiplayer in this game as well. Whoa. Co-op. So we don't know how many players yet, but it's going to bring.
When did we see a trailer for this? I remember the name. Yes, what did this get shown at? Was it a summer show or?
Yes, it was a summer show. We probably saw actually a spring show 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It could have been a spring show. It could have been a spring show 2 years ago, maybe last year. Again, my old brain, time doesn't do well, right? I screw up time all the time because we've seen so much.
Chad, if you guys can drop a link in the chat too for the trailer, that'd be great.
This is freaking, again, Steel. I trust what Steel's playing, and Steel's loving what he's playing. Right? He's saying there's a lot here. There's a lot to go on. Like, the UI menus again for a first time studio. This is pretty crazy what they've put together. But bring it.
What's it called? Where the wind?
Just Where Winds Meet.
Where Winds Meet. I feel like I've seen that. I know I've seen a trailer of something. I know I have.
Yeah, it was at
Gamescom. Yeah. Oh, Gamescom. Okay.
Yep, Gamescom. Yep, it was at Gamescom 1 year ago. Was the world premiere trailer for it. So I was off. So it was last year that we saw it first. But yeah, if you guys like Ghost of Tsushima, and I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet, right? I'm going to be playing when it comes on PC. I'm picking it up day one. I'm picking it up. I've been waiting on Ghost of Tsushima. Again, that's the game I missed out on when I sold my PS4. That's a game I want. But everything I'm seeing from this looks a lot like it, but they've even got more to it than Ghost of Tsushima does. And this game just feels huge. So everybody go check out Where Winds Meet if you guys are fans. If you're looking for a game like that, it should be on your radar. It's supposed to be out this year. It's supposed to be on everything. So we will see. It looks great, though. It really does.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to look into that and chat. Like I said, if you guys want to drop a link in the chat to a trailer, that'd be great. I'm gonna look it up later anyway. But give us more information. I vaguely remember. Buzz, you just mentioned it, like standing on a roof, a ninja or samurai, not samurai, probably a ninja.
Yeah, he jumps on the roof and there's like a group that meets him and he does like a quick, slice through like 5 of them. And then he hops down on like a cart while I guess the rest of the crew is trying to chase him.
Okay,
then he goes to like a little girl, exchanges something or buys something off of her. And yeah, it definitely has a lot of Ghost of Tsushima vibe to it. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that one as well. Like that's the problem when you got so many of these games that are coming out, and it's like
I just tagged the latest trailer that they just put out.
Appreciate it.
So yeah. So I put that in there. Yeah, you guys go check it out and go check out. You can go over on Living Split Screen, our channel, Living Split Screen. Steele's been streaming. He streamed it twice. It's a closed beta, but this is how confident they are. They're allowing closed beta players to stream it. So there's no NDA for streaming, nothing. That's how confident. And again, from what I've seen, it looks freaking awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's the ultimate level of confidence.
Me of the Zero Zone? Was it Zero? Oh, Zenless Zero Zone or Zenless Zone Zero, which is the game I'm playing.
It's like an anime game. Yeah. Yep. From Hoyo, right? Yeah, that's looking great too.
Aren't they the same people that are doing that? What is the game? Doki Universe, or what is that? Not Doki. What is that?
I don't think they were doing
Doki. Who's? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know they're the same ones that did Genshin Impact, and they have Honkai Star Rail or something like that.
Correct.
Doki. I can't remember who.
That's
Doki Doki is oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue. Why can't I think of it? It's the other team that does I know what it is. Oh god, why can't I do it? No, it's Doki V is what it is. It's not
Doki V.
It's Doki V. It's Doki V.
I got it. It's
Pearl Abyss. God damn.
Yes, there we go. Pearl Abyss. People that did they did. Yeah. So that's crazy, man. I have to check that out.
But they came out with somebody did an interview with them and they said they're still working on Doki V, but it's probably years away. So
it looked like it was years away when we saw it. Like not looked like it, but the way it played and looked like that wasn't supposed to be out right now. Like that game was 5, 6, 7 years down the line. It looked really great. Like the city, everything, it was super populated, super detailed. It looked crazy. It was unbelievable.
That thing was looking like it was Unreal Engine 6.
Yeah, like come on, man. It was almost like
the environments
it was
insane,
like real, bro.
Like photorealistic.
Yeah, it was almost like a Black Wukong situation where we didn't think it was actually like we thought they were just trolling. Like this can't be actual gameplay. So, but I hope it actually is. So yeah, that's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. So I guess we'll switch lanes here a little bit. I know we talked about this a little bit. I do want to talk more about No Rest for the Wicked a little bit. Before we just open it up for chat, and we'll take a bunch of questions and have a bunch of fun. So I know you kind of touched on it already, Pong, and just not going over and maybe going over what you already did. If anybody missed it or just jumped in, shout out to everybody in chat. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Hit the like button as well, subscribe, all that good stuff. But minus the people that just got here, like, is this something down? I know you mentioned down the line. What could you see? Like, what could they add for you as the type of game now? We're just kind of playing around here, but what could they add to this game that would make you like get into it?
Is
it just the combat?
I'm going to be sacrilege. I'm going to be the give me a difficulty setting, right? So
it's not the combat. It's not that it's the Souls-like combat. It's just hard.
It is. And the equipment degradation is awful. Okay, and I've seen other people complain about.
It can.
Yeah.
So it's pulling the Zelda shit. The Link.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
you
man.
constantly have to go back to the blacksmith and fix your stuff. Yes. So that's a part of it. The fall damage was the one that I brought up early. Because of the exploration factor, which is great. The exploration is exactly what they said it was going to be. It's rewarding as hell. It's not a Bethesda open world, right? By any stretch of the imagination, we're talking about an isometric view of smaller lands, but within those levels, right? You can find a lot of hidden stuff. They put a lot of hidden chests and different items to find. There's crafting involved, so you can get axes and pickaxes in which you have to, chop down trees and find stone to go ahead and mine and all that kind of stuff. All that's really cool. I'm loving all of that. Like, again, what I saw in the trailer pulled me in. I really wanted to love this game and buy this game. That's why I bought it, to check it out. But the equipment degradation, like, to me, and even Steele talked about this. So this is a little bit higher level, and this is coming from a non-Souls guy, but again, listening to other people who play Souls all the time, including Steel, right? So I've listened to the community enough, so I understand, because I've watched people play Souls games a ton, because I love their atmosphere so much, and I wish I was the dude who enjoyed frustration and enjoyed the conquest of just getting good. I'm not that guy. I'm that guy in different ways, and I get it, because I like my strategy turn-based games, which a lot of people hate, right? A lot of people don't like strategy games. Like, I get into that kind of difficulty versus this kind of difficulty, right? So there's two sets here. But what I have heard, and makes sense now that I played it for 2 hours, and some of the common enemies. One of the things when you have a stamina based game, right, that you have to either dodge or parry, which Souls games are based on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is a system, and Steele talked about this during his stream, and I understood it because I had played it a little bit. In this game, Moon Studios, during combat, now I think there's some things that are cheap. Like, I got an enemy on the ground and I'm attacking it. Like, I did what I was supposed to do, parried, got him the hit, got him knocked down to the ground, he instantly pops up from the ground into an attack animation on me, right?
Oh,
that
wow.
I can't defend because I'm in the middle of attack animation because he was on the ground. I'm attacking. So for me, that's annoying. Now, again, Souls players will say, hey, that's, something you do have to be aware of. It's part of their pattern, blah, blah, blah. Fine. But there is something that Moon did, which I've seen Steel and others talk about. Groups of enemies. When you got multiple enemies on you in a Souls game, what they did here, what Moon did was they did staggered attacks with those multiple enemies. That makes it extremely difficult because the staggered attacks, if you are parrying or dodging one and you come out of that and you just, all of a sudden you have an alternate attacker attacking you at the same time, but offbeat from the other one, you can't really do anything about that. Like, you're going to get hit. You're going to take that hit, right? That's just going to happen. It's not about learning the patterns or anything because it's a staggered attack system. Now, Moon specifically talked about this in some of the interviews. They wanted it to be that way because they felt it was kind of challenging. Now, Steele also brought up something which I didn't notice because I don't get this deep into these types of games. But Steele did say that the enemies are even predicting some of your moves ahead of time. He noticed this playing the game, that they were actually, the AI was predicting your next move. So they were turning before you had even dodged into that direction, and they were waiting for you. So that is a challenge that some Souls players really, really like. For me, it just adds a layer of frustration. And so that's where I just say, like, again, I'm curious where they're going to take it. I don't know. And I'm not asking them to put a difficulty setting in. Okay. I'm not asking them to change their game. If this is what they want their game to be, more power to them. I'm not that dude that says every game's got to be for me just because I like how it looks. And I really wish this was another, action RPG in that vein that I really enjoy. I'm not that dude. So I'm just saying, I was laughing because the way you were phrasing the question. I'm doing the sacrilege thing for Souls games.
Yeah,
I want a difficulty, right?
Yeah,
I want different settings, but I'm not expecting Moon to do it. If they can improve some of the combat, if they can make a couple changes here and there that make it a little bit easier, that will help me out immensely. Again, I haven't even gotten to the first boss yet. I watched Steel die literally like 12 times on it. Like, I'm already scared because, like, I get it.
I scared you off already.
And the other thing that Steel said, and I noticed it while he was doing this boss, Moon has created a situation where there's a lot of hit, back off, hit, back off, hit, back off. Like, that's what you're doing. And to some people, that's going to be cool. To other people, like Steel specifically said, that's not fun for me. Yeah. So, but again, the game itself is everything they represented. Again, they didn't lie to us. They told us flat out what it was going to be. I knew what it was going to be. They flat out showed it off the way that the game, again, there's been some performance issues. They're patching. They've already done patches. So there was some performance issues, but the game is that gorgeous. as it was in the trailer. The game is that engrossing when it comes to the story and the characters. The art direction is absolutely beautiful. It's not going to be for everybody. Art's in the eye of the beholder, but for me, it's gorgeous. The sound is awesome, incredible. The thunderstorms that come through just really add to the oppressive nature. But then you can have sunshine appear out of nowhere, like they have, the weather effects down pat. And again, the weapons, even though I don't necessarily enjoy the combat, the weapons themselves feel great. And there are changes to how you are playing, and you can kind of play your style with the different weapons that you pick up, whether that is a more fast dodge paced type of character when you pick up like, twin swords or whatever the case may, when you're dual wielding, versus a heavier sword and shield, which is more reliant upon parrying, right? So there is both there. So far, what I've experienced, it gives you a lot of that. There's skills obviously that you can acquire. So you got special attacks that you can use, that you have that you have skill points for. The loot is great. Again, the loot feels great when you open up a chest. You're getting some random loot. I found like an epic level ring almost right out the gate, or whatever else the case may be. It feels really nice. So it does change how things. Your character is actually evolving. So all of that's there. Like the action RPG, they nailed it. It's just that they went the Souls-like route and leaned into it pretty heavy for me. So, but yeah, I think No Rest for the Wicked's got a lot of chance to become a classic favorite. It's in early access. They haven't launched 1.0. They said it should be shortly.
Yeah.
That they're not planning on staying in early access for very long, but they are going to have the community help build them out, and it should get to 1.0. They're planning on the console release being not too far after that. So I think a lot of people are going to love this game. I think a lot of people are going to put this on top of their lists. So yeah, absolutely. The quality's there. Moon is a great studio, even if they don't make games for me.
I mean, there was a long time we talked about Xbox getting them being on that list. And I think they were actually, the documents came out there. I think they were on that list of teams that they had looked at, but I think they turned them down. I'm pretty sure it was public that they're like, nah, we're good. We just want to do these things on our own. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, like you said, for me, the biggest thing, I got excited initially, the same reason you got excited, Pong. And we had this conversation. I thought it was going to be more ARPG, more fluid you know what I mean? Little fluid, more quicker combat, less, lot more forgiving difficulties. That's what I initially thought. But then I saw the combat. They started talking about it. I'm like, that's actually Souls. That's not really what I thought it was going to be. So, like you said, I think there's going to be a lot of people that play the game. If the quality is there, people are going to play it. Like, people enjoy those kinds of games. And like you said, there's enough variety. Some of those small things, will they be an issue, Pong? I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on how much people embrace those new mechanics, right? Because these devs do get to try shit. You know what I mean? They do get the liberty to try new things, even if we don't initially enjoy them. So, the little details you were talking about that Steele pointed out, those could be, something that people enjoy and differentiated from more traditional Souls like. So we got it. There's a fine line here. Although me or you are very same about this game, we do also both understand that, we got to let them cook. They're creative people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and like I said, neither one of us expects every game to be for us.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and say the game's trash just because I can't play it or I don't want to go through the frustration of it. Again, I think I am ultimately going to wind up keeping it and just seeing where they go with it. And because I'm curious, right? And again, if it comes co-op, I'm not afraid to ask Steel to come carry me in his backpack, right? So if they introduce that and that becomes a thing as well, I'll have Steel carry me around like he did in Elden Ring when I got to spots I got stuck in, right? So, but I love the game. I love the atmosphere. I love the story. I love a lot of things about the game. There's a lot
of redeeming qualities.
It's just like, am I ever going to be in love with it like a Starfield or like a Dragon's Dogma 2 or that type? No, I probably will never love it that way, or even like a Diablo, right? I probably will never love this game that way, but that's okay. They didn't make the game specifically for me, so it is what it is. So,
got it. Facts. So Fuzz, I think you jumped in a little bit. Did you get a chance to play a little bit of it at all?
No, because I was going to hold off. No, I was going to hold off on buying it until full release. Like I kind of knew it was going to be Souls-like because I heard some rumblings before they did the open test and stuff like that and put it up for early access. Looks great. It looks like a game I should enjoy, but I'm not a Souls-like player.
Yeah,
like
man.
Sekiro right now might change that for me, but I don't know. Like I think I see that game and I think, man, if that was a Diablo type or Diablo-esque game, I would have definitely picked it up day one. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But some of the reviews I saw beforehand where people had even earlier access, it was like the only real thing from Diablo it has is inventory.
Yeah.
It has some of the kind of like what Pong was saying with the exploration on a smaller scale to some extent, but yeah, that's where the similarities kind of end, other than like maybe the perspective. But yeah, it looks like a game that should be fun and not so frustrating. But Moon Studios knows how to make a beautiful looking game. It's just a matter of, like, Ori is fine for me. It's just after a while I do get tired of the platformers. But I probably played a good bit more of Ori than I would probably play this, at least until there is a difficulty scale or something to that effect. Or if they have co-op and makes it easier to, have it where you can have like teams go through those areas, then it might be a whole different story. But we'll see what changes they have between now and the full release and stuff like that. Or maybe they, have a difficulty slider like a game reviewer or gaming media journalist level or setting or something like that. But yeah, for right now, it's a hold or wait until further details or further updates kind of thing. At least for now, until if I get through Sekiro pretty quickly, then maybe that will change. But yeah, I'm still trying not to accidentally fall off cliffs, charging through people or trying to time the parries and things like that. So yeah, this one's going to probably have to wait for me for a little bit.
That's fair. I think it will for me too. And I think that's kind of going to be the whole pattern for me on that. Like, just because, like you said, I mean, I bought Elden Ring day one, and shout out to Adidas for the $5 super chat. I'm here. Shout out to you, bro. I see you. Appreciate you coming through with a $5 super chat. But yeah, I tried the Souls thing, man. I just can't, like, the combat and just the weight of the weapons. I just want to do fast shit and kill shit and like be fast and be agile and just the weight and having a parry. And I get it. Like, it is like, it can be fun. I played games where that aspect or that portion of the gameplay is fun. But like, I just all the time, and then the difficulty being kind of just like intentional, like that's a part of like what makes the game the kind of game it is. I don't know, man. Like, it's a tough sell for me. I'll like start it, and then it's like a hill I can't get over, man. I don't know what it is. Man, maybe it's just not fast paced enough. I don't feel powerful enough. Maybe I just haven't given it enough time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
but
it's something. Yeah, I think at some point I'll give Souls games another go at it, but Sekiro is kind of like that game. I think I want to play it so much that's why I'm kind of fighting through it. The parry aspect of it seems to work well, except for when they do the multi-slash thing, which I've gotten caught a couple of times on that. But yeah, for the most part, this looks like it's a great game for anybody that's more into the Souls aspect type of games, or able to handle those types of mechanics a little bit calmer than let's say me, because I know I've broken a controller in the past. I just stuff over that. So
facts. Right. Okay. Cool. Good topic, man. Shout out to everybody. What's up, bro? No UE5 stuff today, bro. So we don't have anything lined up that's UE5 related. But shout out to you for coming through. Once again, Adidas for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you as well. Everybody coming through. You guys are fucking awesome. Obviously, coming off a week we did not have a show last week, so it's always good to see some familiar faces, new faces as well. And I wanted to get into something else. It was a couple of small things. Pong, and I specifically want to talk to you about this because I know how much you enjoyed this particular game, and I did see a post essentially saying Larian's working on 2 games. Obviously, Larian being Baldur's Gate developers, Baldur's Gate 3, Game of the Year, pretty much won every Game of the Year award possible last year. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating, literally won every Game of the Year award last year. But I just kind of, with just Pong being a big fan of BG3, won 2 games. That's interesting, right? Like, what do you think's next?
What do I think is next for
Larian?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with this success, I think they try something new. I think they might, it's funny because I would have never have guessed that they weren't going to come back to this, right? I thought for sure they would take a break, right? Obviously not head right back into it, but I thought after all this work, after all this praise, that they would be looking to jump back into this world one more time, right? At least. But obviously that's not the case. I would love to see them go back to Divinity. Again, that's their baby. That's where they cut their teeth that allowed them to make Baldur's Gate 3 what it was. So Divinity is obviously out there. And Divinity Original Sin 3 could be the next project. But I think that with this success, I think they're going to try something new. What that is, I don't know. Because
so not that type of game? You mean new type of game or just same type of game, new IP?
I would bet right now, same type of game, but new IP.
Okay.
Right. But if you are Larian, right? And again, I always have said this. There's a lot of people, maybe they are the studio that just loves making, turn-based strategy RPGs, CRPGs, right? Maybe they are just that squad that loves it. But I always think that there's a chance. If you are going to do something different, if you have an idea as a group, and obviously Larian's pretty tight knit, right? They are a very close group of devs, especially the core. Maybe they've had an idea to do something completely different, not turn-based, right? This whole entire time. Coming off of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, now you got the cash.
You got the cash. You got the clout.
The time.
You got there's, even if you throw that you're going to do something different, you'll have publishers lining up to publish your next game. If you're not, you won't have any issues finding a home for your next game, even if it's completely different. So I think this is their time that they try to break out. So I guess now that I talked myself out of completely what I just said, I'm going to say that they're going to go a completely different route with this next game. I think they're going to try something new that probably isn't going to be an isometric turn-based game. That isn't going to be a CRPG. Now, whether that succeeds or fails, who knows? Because you always have this in your back pocket. Right? So let's say you try something new here, completely different, and it just doesn't hit, right? You don't get the same type of reaction, right? First time out, tried something new, right? Like we see In Exile doing right now, right? So let's say they go and they do it and it just doesn't work out. You're okay, right? With the success of Baldur's Gate 3, you're all right. And what do you got in your back pocket? You got an ace up your sleeve. You got Divinity Original Sin 3. And you can get to making Divinity Original Sin 3 with the success that you had Baldur's Gate 3, with everything that you learned about Baldur's Gate 3. You make Divinity Original Sin 3 as big as Baldur's Gate 3, you got another instant classic on your hands because people will come back in droves to buy that game, right? So you already mastered this one. So I talked myself out of my original answer here. I think they're going to do a brand new IP. And I don't think it's going to be a turn-based CRPG isometric view. I think they're going to go a different route. I think they're going to try to branch out with something new. What that exactly is, I don't know. Do they try the In Exile route and go first-person RPG action shooter? Like, is that what you do? Like, I don't know. Again, what is a Larian aspiring to become? They obviously are more than happy to be independent. They have no interest in being acquired. They've been outspoken about the industry as a whole, about the hiring practices, about the firing practices, about, AAA spending and all that kind of stuff. So I think they remain who they are, but I think that they may test the waters on something new. Do I mind it? No, not at all. Would I love to see Divinity 3 show up? Yes, of course. I will be there day one if it does. But I think they're going to, this is their moment to reinvent themselves, or at least show that they can go do something different.
I think I'm leaning that direction. When I asked you the question, I had already had that in mind when I asked you.
Sure.
When I brought this topic up, because I think that this is studios don't get this type of opportunity very often. Right? Like you don't get the level of success that BG3 saw was almost unprecedented. We had never seen really a CRPG ever reach those levels of like cachet where it's like 100% no brainer game of the year type shit. You know what I mean? Like that's almost never happened. So that's afforded them a very unique situation, Pong. And I mentioned it earlier. You mentioned money. You mentioned, they don't have to worry about all these other things. Time is a thing that affords you as well. When you make a phenomenal once in a lifetime or generation, however you want to title it, type game, you get time. Why do you think nobody cares about how long Rockstar takes? Right? Because when you make a monument, when you do something like to that degree, that level, people will give you leeway. We do not just take your time, do what you need to do. And then you can go make something different and we'll be just as excited too. So I'm with you. I think they're going to try to do something completely out of their wheelhouse. I'm like 80-20 on that, Paul.
Look at what CD Projekt Red did, right?
Yep.
CD Projekt Red created The Witcher, right? Took them 2 games,
Same
right?
situation. Game of the year, generational game.
And they had the third game.
Yep.
Didn't start out the hottest, whereas obviously Baldur's Gate 3 was hot from the beginning, so it didn't matter because they built the game with the community. They had early access forever. Like they did it differently. But what I'm saying is, first 2 Witcher games, mildly successful. Some people really kind of fans of The Witcher itself and the story and that kind of thing. But then they come out with The Witcher 3. Doesn't hit out the gate. A lot of problems. Classic CD Projekt Red. But then they turn it around. Becomes, right, for many people, GOAT of GOATs for RPGs. CD Projekt Red is absolutely 100% considered one of the best RPG makers out there, which now Larian in a different kind of genre, CRPGs, but still they've proven their chops in story and writing and world development and world building and all that kind of stuff, which people already knew because if you played Divinity, you already knew these guys were great, right? These guys and gals were just absolutely masters at creating this type of game. But again, Divinity, smaller success. Big success with Baldur's Gate 3. CD Projekt Red has huge success with Witcher 3. What do? Do they go back to that well yet again? No, they turn around, go to creating an open world, first person cyberpunk RPG, right? In Cyberpunk 2077. So they said, oh, we have all the success. Let's go try something different. Let's go try something new, right? So they did something they hadn't been known for, which was first person in a futuristic setting, which is completely different than The Witcher 3. So they took their shot, right? We know the cyberpunk story. Again, another 180 degree turnaround for CD Projekt Red in that game, now winning awards when it shouldn't win awards as an ongoing game, even though it wasn't ever supposed to be an ongoing game, whatever. I love it. You guys already know this. So I'm happy for them, but they took their chance to break out and try something new. And I think Larian could do that here. That's why I talked myself out.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think that's more likely than the other option than them just to kind of get complacent and just kind of, okay, we'll just do this again, or we'll just continue to, I mean, they might leave a team on BG3 to still work on it. Maybe there's DLC down the line. I don't know what the road, no roadmap. Okay. So no DLC. So
no DLC, no plans, none of that stuff. They're hands and walking away.
Oh yeah, if that's the case, they're definitely ready to do something different then for sure. I mean,
I still think it'll be an RPG. Don't get me wrong. I think whatever they do will probably have. It's not like they're going to go do a racing game, right?
No.
I don't think they're going. They're not going to do that.
Baldur's Gate 3 a fighter,
RPG.
Huh?
Right.
Baldur's Gate 3 fighter.
Something crazy. So no, I think they're still going to stay in the RPG world, just like In Exile is with Clockwork Revolution, right? I think they just try a different style this time around in a totally new world. I think they create their own new world. So that's my thinking.
I like that. And I got a topic specifically for you too. Shout out to everybody watching. You guys are fucking amazing. Corey, everybody in chat. Once again, hit the like button, man. We're winding down here, but I appreciate you guys, man. Another awesome Saturday. But Fuzz, I got one for you. Specifically, I wanted to talk a little bit about the PlayStation PC UI, the changes that they're making and embracing PC, right? We knew this. Anybody who didn't have corks in their ears and actually can read, so, I don't no disrespect to people that can't, but we knew this. Jim said it 2-3 years ago. Herman said it as well. This ain't enough. We're good on 20 million. The God of War and the Ghost of Tsushima's and Spider-Man's, that's great, but it's not enough. We need a infusion of energy. We need an infusion of cash more than anything. We need this shit to last longer than 30 days. We need that bubble to last longer than 30 days. So it looks like they're full on, and we knew this was coming. We saw it, right? They've been making baby steps, pump faking, acting like they wouldn't go and jump into PC space, and here we are. So seeing the changes that they're making, like, what is that? Is that pretty much on brand? Is this, we have to now, we're full on going full PC with these things now?
I think so. I think it's on brand now, and the fans are going to probably be dragged into it kicking and screaming. But it's kind of something that we had all talked about before. It's kind of inevitable given what the climate is as far as the business model. But, having it where they have their own launcher, where you can, sync your trophies and your progress and stuff like that. When they get on board doing that type of stuff, you're going to have the console or the PS5 guys and gals that have a PC. They're going to get the benefit of it because they're going to see having it on. If they have a widescreen monitor, they're going to see the benefits of that, or they're going to see that you can have additional upgrades as far as the vegetation or the specular highlights and particle effects and all that stuff. You can see the difference that, if their PC is of that spec, they can see the goodness of what you can do on PC in comparison to console. Sure, the games look great on console, but they look even greater on PC if it's, a fairly, recent one type of thing. But, having those overlays, having those controls, it took them long enough. I kind of wondered how long it was going to be. I figure, and I'm still of the belief that, other than the Insomniac leak where Wolverine's already on PC, I still believe that, what is that studio? Bend Studio, those same ones that did
Days Gone.
Days Gone. Since they're not able to do a Days Gone 2, I figured whatever their new IP was going to be a day and date. Now, I'm hearing some people saying that it's going to be a gas game. I have no idea. I'm not under the impression that it's a gas game, but I always thought it was going to be a day and date because, what do they have to lose with that studio that they've already kind of they're 1 foot out the
I was going to say
they got one more flop in them before they get shut down kind of thing. And I wouldn't consider Days Gone a flop, but by Sony standards, it was whatever. But whatever their new IP is, I think that's going to be the game that is the debut of PC day and date. But then again, after the leaks with what do you call them, Wolverine, that might make sense. So whichever one of them comes first, whether it's Ben Studios game or Wolverine, one of those has to be day and date since there's already PC copies out there. But it took them long enough. I'm still waiting for them to put GT7 on PC. I look forward to and hope that overlay with the progress and the trophies allows me to take my progress from the console over to PC. And if it does, I don't have to turn my PS5 on anymore. I know that's not something that's great considering it'll just sit there and collect dust, but in the grand scheme of things at that point, considering what my PC can do, I'll be happier, playing it there instead. But, for PlayStation guys that made fun of Xbox when they did something similar on the PC, it's the taste of your own medicine, but it's not like it's a bad thing. Like I don't understand why a lot of people feel the need that their console has to make them feel special because only people that are on that same team can, have access to these games. It's like the big thing that you have to look at is having those games on PC means that those studios are going to have more money for sequels or more money for new IPs or teams to work on additional IPs, for the future. Or, just in general, it keeps the company that you enjoy the content from, it keeps them in business. Mm-hmm. So if it lines their pockets, from a PC player or another player on a PS5, why should you care? Even as a shareholder, I don't care if they sell more consoles as long as they continue to sell software and the stock price remains at a decent amount. That's all that really matters. But from a gaming standpoint, it's good to see it there, whether it be begrudgingly or not. It's good to see that they're making these steps forward. And I hope they kind of push things a little bit faster in the sense that maybe that will get Microsoft off their butt when it comes to having like an Xbox overlay for PC kind of like what Everborn Saga is doing with his recent PC build, where he's got it hooked to a TV just as if it's a console, and has the big picture mode running, where he has all of his Xbox games loaded through Steam, and it's just the console experience. You turn it on, other than you see in the desktop for like a split second, it's running like it's console software. But the faster these companies do that, the better it is overall. Not saying that I want to see hardware go away, and I don't think it would. It's just a matter of, if you have the option to build the best hardware that your pocket can afford, as opposed to what they have to offer, and it winds up being, substantially better, then that's probably the best way to enjoy gaming. Like, let's not fool ourselves. If we can get more frames, more pixels, more particles, more everything, I can't see somebody outside of it being outside of budget. I can't see somebody saying no to that type of thing. But no, it's great. I hope they continue pushing forward and get the rest of these games going on PC, and start doing day and date. Like,
that's the last.
I'm not going to double dip, but I might be more prone to buy it on PC, especially considering there's things like CD keys and GG deals and things like that, where you can usually get them for less than what the launch price is. You can get like 10 to 15% and sometimes a lot more off, even on a pre-order. So yeah, I'll do that all day.
Yeah. No, it's like you said, it's funny, and to see the just kind of the embrace, them slowly embrace PC, and it's coming along. They're getting there, and it's great, because once again, we talked about this, as a PlayStation fan, we deal with certain things, you know what I mean, on the Xbox side, but as a PlayStation fan, these are things that like they're not accustomed to. You know what I mean? You kind of got to get used to it. It's inevitable at this point. They were going that direction. It's going to take a little bit, but they're definitely going that direction. So, and once again, it's going to be divisive, but it's just something you got to get used to, people, So It is what it is. It is what it is. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up on that note, man. It was a phenomenal show. The chat was crazy. Everybody came out. You guys were fucking awesome. Shout out to everybody who showed up. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you as well again for doubling back and rewatching it from the beginning. But you guys are amazing. I'm not going to take too much time in getting you guys out of here this evening. It's an awesome Saturday, but I want to make sure we give some proper outros for my brothers, obviously. We want to start with you, Fuzz. Another great show. Chat was awesome. Some new people in here. Some people always people showing love, but let everybody know where they can find you, Fuzz.
Oh, as always awesome doing the show with you guys. Love being here on Saturdays. Missed it last week, but man, just enjoying gaming as a whole, and just enjoying, talking about it, and, just chit chatting about, stuff that we're excited about and what's coming up, and, these coming weeks, as well as what we're playing now. So it's always a great time. Love being here with you guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat for joining us. Greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to take a look at us. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. And for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter, at fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on Pixelated Echoes tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. on the Pixelated Echoes channel with 3-Bit at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night. And then Monday, you will find me on Xbox Lunch Break Special on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick XL at 12 noon. No FSP Monday, I believe, but that may change. But look forward to seeing you guys here, hopefully next Saturday, same time, same channel. Look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.
Awesome. And shout out to 3-Bit too, man. I got to give you guys some kudos. I love that show, bro. I'm glad that I was one of the people to get on early as a guest, and I appreciate you as well as 3-Bit for inviting me on. But chat, the show is fucking amazing. They do Fuzz, 3-Bit do such a great job. Super high quality, super high production. Please do yourself a favor. Go check out Pixelated Echo. So kudos to you and 3-Bit, man. It's a fucking great show. It's been great so far, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. But yeah, you guys know where to check out Fuzz as well too. Easy to keep up with Fuzz, right? Always moving in slow motion, not moving too fast. Putting out videos, talking Forza, racing, things like that. But appreciate you, Fuzz. You're my brother. I love you forever. You already know that. And we'll obviously have another great show next week lined up, man, for sure. But throw this over to my other brother, Pong. So it's good that we had a show. I didn't realize that you didn't really get a chance to be on any shows, man. Like, I didn't realize that. Like, damn, this is really the only show this week for you. So it's kind of cool that I got you fresh and you got some of it out, because I know I'm that way too, bro. If I don't get a chance to like get it out, no Diddy. But if I don't get a chance to get it out, man, I feel weird that week. So it's always good when we have a great show. But let everybody know they can find you, Pong.
Yeah, no, thanks for having a show so I could actually sit down and talk, man. It was great to be here. Yeah, weird week. Obviously, sometimes it is nice to have breaks, but I get eager to talk too, right? It is like one of those things, especially with a lot going on, you know, in the gaming industry right now. And it's just good to sit down with two of my favorite people, obviously, and my brothers from another right here and do this and chat. It was great to see, like I said, the names. Haven't seen you guys all week, so it was great to see you all in here. So appreciate you all coming out and obviously dropping by and supporting us as always and supporting all the shows. Next week we should start getting back to normal. We will see. Obviously real life is what it is, and things happen, and we all know that, but next week it should be back to normal. So you guys know the drill. Pong Soul on X, formerly known as Twitter, Pong Soul on the Xbox, Pong Soul on Steam, Pong Soul on Epic Game Stores, Pong Soul on GOG, whatever, you know where to find me. And then, of course, Tuesdays, I got a shout out Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick, big supporter of everybody in this community. Go check him out on the Xbox Factor podcast every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time for all good things green. And of course, Thursday night, we should be back for PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM. Shout out to Mav, who I know was here earlier. I don't know if he's still in here, but shout out to Mav. Shout out to
he
Caitlin.
was on the tablet. I saw him in the chat. He said he had his tablet.
Yeah, the tablet. Shout out to
Mav.
the family. All love to you guys, and glad Dad, is obviously doing better. Yeah. That was made public, but by Caitlin, but her dad obviously went through something very critical, but it sounds like he's on back, and they went and surprised him this week on the East Coast for the first time in like 4 years. So great that they got out there, and all love to you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys back. But Thursday night, PM in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, over on the Fun Speculation Network, where Mav and I get together and just chat it up and catch up. And then, of course, Friday nights, it's back on the Fun Speculation Network for the Xbox Ultimate Show, where the family gets together. We go left, we go up, we go down, we go sideways, go all the way around. But we have lots of laughs, lots of fun, lots of great talk, though, on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, Xbox Ultimate. And then, of course, we should be back next week, barring something coming up, on Living Split Screen. Myself, my brother from another, Steel Rain at it. We will have a lot to get into next week, so buckle up. If we have a show, which we're planning on having one next Saturday, it'll be 4+ hours for sure. Living Split Screen, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Split Screen, all one word, where we get live, raw, and uncut, so be there for that. And then, God willing, be back here with these two freaking amazing people in Blam and Fuzzy for another episode of the Shop Podcast. It's the golden age of gaming, people. It is, man. And RPG fans, along with Souls fans, along with horror fans, like, we are eating good. Strategy fans, like, everybody's eating good.
Everybody's
right now.
eating good, yeah.
Everybody's eating good. So get out there, play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Thanks again, everybody.
Appreciate you, man. Pong, my brother, man. Love you once again, too. You already know, bro. So glad to have you back. Glad to have you get into your bag again throughout the week. I love it a little bit. So I love to see it, bro. But once again, you guys know where to keep up with Pong. Go to Twitter. We don't call it X. Go to Twitter. Follow him there. It's the easiest way to keep up with him. But always love to have you here. Like I said, a battery, the energy I need every single week, man. Pong helps provide that. So I appreciate you so much, bro. You're invaluable to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here and rocking out with us every week, my brother. So last but not least, your guy, PTK Blam, the host here at the shop. Very grateful for all of you hanging out with us, man. It was a phenomenal show. Got a few more topics in than we normally will, but it's kind of nice. It was kind of nice to get some of the smaller stuff in that happened this week, and it felt good. So we will be back. If you had a good time today, we do this every week. So please come back. You'll get this every single week. Well, just about, barring things happening in real life. But yeah, this is pretty much what the show consists of, man. High energy, super high quality gaming talk. And we don't do none of that funny stuff. You know what I mean? We have a good time here. So if that's what you enjoy in your gaming podcast, you've signed up and come to the right place. So we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Enjoy your weekend. Please be safe. Peace out, everybody.
Later.